to me by God, validated by Jesus Christ. The golden voice, Holy Spirit revealed, to raise and to build.
Welcome to the Golden Voice Live. Silence is golden, speech is silver. I am the Golden Voice, God's son, Chito Ndhlovu. And the next guest that I have today, me and this guy have done a couple of shows together on radio. And let me tell you, he's possibly one of the best people I've ever done a radio show with. He's hilarious, he's exciting, but above all, he has another interesting, you know the way people usually say there's street wisdom? This is not street wisdom, this is highway wisdom. Right here. It is the one, the only, Oga Obinna.
Oga, the top is in the building. What's up, everybody?
Hey.
Oga at the top. That's that's Mufasa. Yeah, another Mufasa, the African Mufasa.
The African Mufasa.
Yeah.
Have you watched this new one?
Of course, bro. I got kids, man.
I watched that thing. Let me tell you, first of all, I've watched it like 10 times. 9 times unwillingly. You know when he's just playing in the house?
Yeah.
Uko huku unaisikia tu ikicheza. But I remember watching it and I was like, why are they making Mufasa so soft though?
I was like, huh? Like, that ain't Mufasa. We are here in the bush. We know. But I was like, it's fine. That's their version of Mufasa.
That's their version of Mufasa.
And also, speaking about their promised land, it was called Milele.
Milele.
It's like, they're calling it Milele.
Milele.
Like, oh. Yeah, that one doesn't look forever, but it's fine.
Yeah.
But how have you been?
I've been good, my guy.
I can see, man.
Yeah, how have you been doing?
Like it. No, me, I'm good. God has been good to me and a couple of people.
Yeah.
And I've also decided to extend the goodness to a couple of people. And I think I'm serving my purpose.
Yeah. You know, I've noticed you're talking about God a lot lately, bro.
Yeah.
Because in fact, there was the time I was in the car and then I was listening. I can't remember who it was you were with on your show. And then I was like, wait, is that Obisi?
I was like, wait a minute.
Is that Obisi? He's talking about God? Because there's a time you were quiet.
Yeah.
And you were listening. I can't remember who it was, but I remember because I looked at you and you were listening to this person who was talking. And I was like, Obisi.
Am I not a good listener?
No. I'm not saying you're not a good listener now. But what is it? What made that? Because there's something that happened, Obinna.
Yeah.
Something happened and it's like you've done a complete, like, it's like not even a 360, it's like a 1080.
360 times 3. Yeah, so what happened is I grew up. I grew up and I learned a lot. And I still do. And I realized that where I am and the things I've been able to achieve, I wouldn't have done it alone. And when you come to that realization, it puts you to a place you're like, wait a minute, there's something else that's happening.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's God. And also with my purpose, I never had figured it out before. So I was in between places trying to do this, trying to understand. Then once I understood my purpose, I was like, kumbe ndio sababu. And I made peace. So my purpose is healing. I'm a healer. I'm a safe space for a lot of people and animals and things. And once I figure that out, I don't get offended when people offload on me. Like me, I always meet jamas. We sit for 5-10 minutes. Muta amefunguka. I'm like, Ujama, you don't know me like that, bro. Yeah. But someone amefunguka, you know. Yeah. And then this happened, and then my boss, and then my dad, and then... So later I realized, even when I meet kids, like I would pull up, we would be somewhere, and somehow the kids would just warm up to me.
Yeah.
And somehow they'll just be playing around me, anakuja anamfinyia macho, anafanya nyinyi, anatoka mbio, anafurahia, anarudi tena. So I'd not figured that out. Even animals, pets. Yeah. I'd be around here. If there's a cat, the cat will just be resting here. If there's a dog, somehow, if it's a friendly one, kuna zile pia. Who let the dogs
now
out?
The real Mufasa.
Kuna umbwa koko. I love that. Yeah. So once I figured that out, I was like, oh, me, I'm more of a healer. Yeah. But now the way I do the healing is different. It depends. Yeah. There are people that come for healing on my show. Yeah. That is why when I sit down with people, watu wanafungukanga kwa hiyo show, wanasema, hii kipindi mtu akifika hapa anaropokangwa tu. Personally, I don't even know. Yeah. But it just happens. And it happens on air and off air. And then also the other way of healing is through my music. Yeah. My healing through my music is for different people. There's someone who understands the art of patience through my musical journey. And there's someone who gets, hey, I like this vibe.
Yes.
And there's someone who's like, hey, this song is quite deep. Why am I not doing it? So it's very different. And also it goes to my philanthropy. I am very big on mental health awareness.
Yes.
And also I'm very big on boy child because I'm one of them. And I realized where I've been up to here is because nobody was telling me. So there's some mistakes I made that I was like, if Chito had told me this thing a while ago, but there was no Chito because Chito was fighting his own battles.
Yeah.
So I'm also big on that one. And then also children. I do a lot with orphanages. Then I've adopted a couple of kids. And then finally, I do something with menstruation health, stopping the stigma around it and also keeping the girl child safe where, when women don't have access to pads, they can be manipulated to do any other thing so they can get it. There's some places coming inside the Uma Bay where girls are misused, they're vulnerable because they don't have access to pads. And then also there are people who don't have access to pads and then they use like cotton buds, some use some dirty clothes and then it brings infections and nini. So my purpose is healing in that broad spectrum. I'll entertain you, I'll educate you, but also the mistakes I've made, I'll say them out loud. And someone will go like, hey, Obinna lisemanga lifanya hivi. Let me not try that. So I understood that and then now I became more calm. I stopped being more judgy nowadays. I rarely judge people. But it still happens. Uko like, nini bana mtu wewe?
Umedu?
Hiyo ndo kichwa peke yake uko nayo ama kuna ingine? But I stopped judging people more. So squeezy, I look at solutions other than situations.
Yeah.
Because
it's interesting. One of the pillars of the Golden Voice Live is heal, teach, raise, build. The four pillars of what we are doing when we are sitting here and just so even when you mentioned healing, I was like, it explains possibly why me and you always connect. That would explain a lot why we understand each other. Because I think we'd look at each other and see each other from who you needs healing. Now we begin and who you pia and I need healing.
We get closure. We're like, birds of a feather. It's a symbiotic relationship. You gain. It was Venom and Tom Hardy. You gain, I gain. It's like, if I don't survive with you, I'm gonna die.
When we now then look at, especially at that thing when you talk about healing, and we look at now, because you are one who's very open about the relationships you've been in. And now that we're in this series that I'm doing here called Lessons from the Honeys That Are Dated. And
they really honeys? Not bad for the honeys. Just say lessons from people. Those were more like bees. They stung, bro. They stung. Honey is supposed to be sweet. There's one kind of bittersweet feeling. Lemon. No, but it was good while it lasted. It was good. It has
and you've had quite a couple of them.
Where?
See, busy kama 4 or 5.
Hapana, moja. I only got one next, bro.
But there's lessons and there are many things that happen in this. I mean, like you have children even from, I believe,
I do.
From some of these relationships and that you're even taking care of the children that live with you. What is that one thing from your ex that you regret the most? Well, from your exes, the one thing that you look back and you're like, this one thing, if it wasn't for this thing, this relationship would be good. I regret it. And possibly you'd never go back to that relationship.
Chito, I just told you I'm trying to look at the glass half full, bro.
Yeah, and it's okay. You see, when you look at it half full, now you're able to see the lessons from that regret.
But it doesn't... the fact that you're looking at a glass half full does not mean it's not half empty.
There's the other side of it.
Yeah. So as much as talking about lakini iko na maji, I want to say, but wewe ndo umemwaga hiyo nusu ingine. Oh, wow.
Let's go through this healing journey because someone needs to hear that. You see that one now? That's the one that we need to hear. Because that's the one that then brings out, then we are able to see the full story, the full picture. I'm how busy. There are so many.
Actually, there are so many. No,
let's start. We can start with what? Let's even pick like the top 3. We can even do the top 3 or the top 7. We walk down with them.
Like top 3 things that...
Regrettable moments.
Let's say things I could have done differently.
Yes.
Wow. Okay, the main mistake that I make most of the time in my relationships is empathy. I am very empathetic and So later, I came to understand that most empaths always end up getting, when an empath gets a narcissist, they don't see it because they assume the narcissist is an empath and they absorb the narcissism for them. For example, and this one cuts across for both women and men, you find kuna mtu mwenye, let's use physical abuse. Kuna dem ameslapiwa na chali yake.
Yes.
Dem atalia, then chali atamslap, then ataenda. Then dem ataka chini ajite kamkutana aseme, I mean, slapped too because I think he was very angry. I think, no, ajani slap before, lakini alikuwa amekasirika, nadhani just kwa nimempikia food. So you start making excuses for the other party. It's the same way even us men, when we get to cheat and the woman loves you and she's an empath, most of the time she'll make excuses for you.
Yes.
Why is he cheating? Kwani, what did I do? Ni nini sijafanya vizuri? Ama sifanyi ABCD? And most of the time as empaths, we never know it has nothing to do with you. It's the other person's character, regardless of who you are. It's independent of you.
Yes.
So the main mistake that I make in my relationships is I become an empath to a point. This is what happens. Kimwanaume leo amepata dem. You sleep together. Okay? Kesho napigia mwanaume amerealize vibe. Jana dem aliongea vibaya nini. Akaona ka red flag na kalengeo story. Sema alini ghost too. I don't understand why he did that. But the fact that he did that is going to save him a lot of BS in the future.
Yeah.
Now, myself, I'm different. I'll go like, yeah, ni kweli nilipata dem kwa club. Alikuwa amewaka. Pana jana aliwa, dem alinitukana jana, lakini I think because alikuwa amewaka. But by that time, you haven't figured out the fact that she was already drunk and she was out of control. It means, considering I don't drink, I'm like, kidogo itakuwa tricky. But I'm like, maybe I'll try and change her. So you try and do that. Then you find probably maybe this person does not have a good relationship with their parents.
Yeah.
Either their dad or their mom. And you're like, no, I think parents wake tu ndio kidogo, understand. Ama for example, you find a single mother. So when you find a single mother, you assume you're going to be the savior. Okay?
Yeah.
And as men, we don't sit down enough times and ask ourselves, why is the father of this child not here? And I'm not talking about the deadbeat dads, because we also have men who are just terrible.
Yes.
We know them. And then we also have men who have really, really tried. Narcozileza. It's, for example, like myself. I use myself a lot as an example because I've been there. I've fought a lot of unnecessary fights to be in my kids' lives. If I was many other men, I could have just gone like, I'm not fighting. Where can I mtoto bwana? Because it got to a time, there's a time when I went to pick my son and it got very physical. Tukaenda up kwa chief, nini, mtoyaka kwa zile, mi nabaki na mom. And I was so broken. And I came back home and I sat in the shower and I grew. And I was like, man, now I need to find another son, man. And I knew I'd lost my son because the way the things were happening, I was just like, yo. And he was poisoned so much. And if I remember the way this thing happened, so I used to drop my son. The mother used to stay somewhere in Rironi. So that time I used to do a lot of club shows. So every Friday, I was either going to Nakuru, Naivasha, Kisumu, where? So I'd drop my son there, kwa stage, market and pick. Then I would go do my shows. When I come back on Sunday, at drop kwa stage and pick, we come back. So one of these days, I drop her there, go. Coming back, napiga simu ishikwi. Napiga so nikapiga na namba nyingine. Nakashika. Kame, sulete big boss. Nini. Mi sulete mtoto. Sema nini, unatesa mtoto wangu. I'm like, mtoto wangu amesema huko, da. I'm like, what do you mean? I'm like, so personally, I would test my child knowingly. I'm like, oh, okay. So, mi nakana mtoto wangu. I'm like, haifanyikangi simu ikakatwa. I'm like, Remember, I'm always dropping him on the stage, so I don't know where the house is. So I called myself a meeting. I'm like, So I drove back to Nairobi, nikamaliza shughuli yangu. So later that week, I decided to find out. Calling Ashikwi, nini Ashikwi. So nikaka kitu kama 1 month. Nikasema, ebu nitulie kidogo, labda ata because I knew she was not financially capable of taking care of him the way I was. So nikasema, let me give it about a month, nione kama atanipigia. She'd never called. Hey, I told my guys, yo, hey, let's go find this boy. So you see that within that 1 month, if I could have extended it for like maybe a couple of many other months or years, my son now maybe would be a very different dude. You see, you never know, either for the good or for the bad. Yes. You never know. Things happen. And after about a month, we went with my boys to find, tukazunguka hiyo area, tunaonyesha picha, nini. So we're about to give up nearly a whole day of operation. Watu wengine wakasema, hawa, tunawajua. Huyu ni mgeni, tunachezanga, twende tuwapeleke. They took us. I get there, nafika hivi naambia ni hapa, nyumba ingine ya a small structure of mabati, kama plot iko na mlango kama 4. Wanaishi hapa. Then I think my bro saw Liron through the fence, playing somewhere. I said, no, Liron. Then I look, hey, Liron. Then my son looked at me like this. Then he got up, pole. Me, my kids are not like that. When my kids see me, they come running. And if I see them, I go running. Yeah. Because I haven't seen you the whole day, man. Come hug me, man. What's up? Show me some love.
Yeah.
So my son looks at me, and then he gets up, pole. Ni kama ushawapatia mtoto chore, then they don't want to do it. Kwa kijalo nasema odu dore kile mami staki. So he woke up like that.
Yeah.
Akona matope ameparara akakam. Akapitia gate and then he side hugs me akaniwekea ka shoulder hivi. Then I'm like, nyumba yenu iko wapi? Ndio hii. I'm like, let's go. So I'm going to tell the mother, of which was also a wrong choice. I could have just driven off. But now I know better. Next time, I'm going to drive away. Yeah.
You're planning for the next time.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we go to the door, anatuonyesha ndio mlango yao, so tunagonga hodi. And then the mother fungua the pasia, then stands on the door. Then looks at me and tells me, unataka nini? And then I'm like, nimekuja kuchukua Liron. Umekuja kuchukua mtoto na si ulimtupa? Bro, I was boiling. I was looking at her in that door and I'm just like, Mungu nishikilie, mkono nishikilie mguu. And my son is standing next to me like this. Ulishatupa mtoto, alafu ndio sasa umekujia mtoto. And then I'm looking at this woman. A lot of things are going through my head. And then I turn around. And then I start walking back to the car. And then she runs and then comes and holds the boy. And I'm like, mbona unamshika? Si tunaongea tu. Unataka kuiba mtoto? Eh? And I'm like, yo. And I get in the car. I think I had the KBT, the car that I gave my PA. Yeah. So I sit in the car. And then I tell my son, Liron, come to Onge. And then he gets in and then sits here. Leslie carries him. So he's sitting on Leslie's lap. And then I'm talking, Leslie's my bro. Yes. And I'm like, so have you been? Nini, tunaongea kidogo, niko tu vizuri, nini. He's talking to me with a certain type of vibe. So the mother comes on this side of the car and then ameshikilia steering. Ako inje lakini ameshikilia steering ya gari. So a lot is happening. I'm angry. She's angry. The child is confused. My bro is here. I think I was with Bashka or something. That time I think I was running out of the Bashka. Bashka or Nebulas, one of them. And then, nimeona hapa, then nikangurumisha gari. Then akashika sasa steering sasa na nguvu sasa. So hapo mbele there was a gate. Fence imekam hivi. Ukienda hiyo area Rironi, most of the fences are maua stuff.
Yes, I know those fences.
So, and then the road is very narrow. So something was telling me, just accelerate. Ukienda fence.
Itamsaidia.
Itanisaidia. But to her detriment. And somehow, I don't know what stopped me because I just braked. Nilikuwa nimeanza tu hivi alafu nika brake. I think it was Leslie alembia, Obino, then nika brake. Braking, my son hit his head on the windscreen. Yes. We don't even know how it happened. We never saw it, but windscreen ilikuwa imecrack. Somehow unaona ile alafu kale ka line.
Yeah.
Then I stopped. So when I stopped, there was another mzae alikuwa anafua manguo zake hapo, like their neighbor, alikuwa anafua manguo nje. Anambia kijana, kuja kidogo, kuja tuongee. I turn off the car, I get off, and then she gets in the car, in the driver's seat. So I just look at her, so I go to talk to this mzae. Because now in her head, we are running away with the toy.
Yeah.
But me in my head, I've come back to take my son.
Yeah.
Because I know the situation here is not.
Yeah, it's not conducive.
Yeah. But also in my head, mimi namtestia mtoto wake.
Yeah.
Yeah. Remember this time I was living with someone else.
Mm-hmm.
And also there was a lot that was happening without me knowing that I wasn't privy to, but nobody was also telling me. Okay? So this man tells me, hiyo kitu unafanya kijana sio mzuri. Mi naomba uende pole pole. Hata mimi unaona nafua bibi yangu ameenda na watoto juzi. Nini? So it starts opening up. That thing for healing that I told you.
Yeah.
I didn't know. So this guy talks to me like 10 minutes. Telling me the wives has done what, nini ametoka na watoto, so abaki peke yake ajua ameenda wapi and stuff like that. Akanambia unajua saa hizi kitu unafanya ni mbaya kwa sababu huyo mwanamke akisema mnaiba mtoto. Mimi nimesikia akishout mnaiba mtoto. Watu hapa hawajui. Mnajua mnaweza kuchomwa. And that thing was boom. I was like, wait a minute, by the way, I might be the father of the boy, but these people don't know us. Yeah. Then I have a black car that is tinted. And we are like 3 ninjas. And I was like, yo. So when I looked at this, I was like, by the way, so akanambia kitu yenye mimi nasema muende kwa chief. Sema, okay. So went to the chief. So the guy took us to the chief. Mama akaingia kwa gari, nini, mimi, my son, nani, tukajifinya kwa gari, tukaenda kwa chief. To solve issue. So we sat there, solved the issue, tukaambiwa da. And then when we were told that, mtoya akasema nabaki na mamake. So we left there. I was very broken and everything. And I went and I said, I'm going to try and figure it out.
Yeah.
And I'm going to get another boy and nini. Yeah, I was just like, huyo amepotea. So, yeah, I'm going to get another boy. Yeah, I'm like, oh.
Yeah,
I'm like, I'm going to get another boy, man, eventually. Because these are like my only son, my firstborn, you know. So later, okay, let me just fast forward the story. So how I ended up having my son is, after a few months of staying with the mother, I don't know, he got an awakening. And they ran away kwenda kwa machokora ye na the elder sister. She's called Emma. She's the reason why I also ended up with the mother, because how I met the mother, I met Emma first. Runs, comes back. Then the mother comes like, hey, nimesikia, Emma ameniambia kuna rafiki. I was at my friend's place called Dalmas in Isili. That's how we ended up knowing each other. Then now later on comes along. So him and Emma ran away to be chokoras.
Yeah.
So me, I'm called with the principal of the former school. Like, hey, niaje baba Liron, nimepigiwa na polisi wa Kikuyu police station, wanasema wako na kijana hapa anasema anaitwa Liron. Might it be our Liron? Hiyo siku mimi na Churchill show Carnival. It's on Thursday. So I was on the road, so nikachukua Kikuyu bypass mpaka Kikuyu police station. That's where I found my boy and Emma. So what happened, what saved me and saved them, the Kikuyus, they are so awakened where hakuna machokora kwa street. Wakipata chokora anachukuliwa anapeleka police station, they trace back where they're coming from, wanarudishwa. Kike kwa Kisumu, Western.
It's just another child in the street.
Yep. Yeah. Ningekuwa sahi, labda ningekuwa nimeadopte na kijana wangu barabani. You look a little bit like me. Yeah. So, waliokotwa kwa street usiku, wakapelekwa Kikuyu police station. So my son is being asked, kwenye ni wapi? Anasema Muthaiga. Because I used to stay in Muthaiga. Yes. Somewhere called Muthaiga Brook Villas. Kwenye ni wapi Muthaiga? Wanaangalia mtoto. Muthaiga. I say, which school do you go to? Bright Sparks Kindergarten. So that is how when they went to the database, they found the number of the principal of Bright Sparks Kindergarten, where he was going before. So hawakusema penye wanaishi, na hawakusema shule wanaenda huku, because they were going to some public school around Rironi area. So they didn't say that. So they were very sharp. So that's how I ended up coming over there. So when I'm getting there as well, I don't know what happened. The mother also was looking for them. She ends up pulling up in the police station. Nabebea mtu mwingine kwa baka, hawako hapa. It became a big case. Tumekaa chini, we are solving. So she's being asked, what happened? Nasema, watoto ni vichwa ngumu. Nawapatia kazi, hataki kufanya kazi. Me, I'm just sitting in my head. I'm like, whoop, unawapea kazi, child labor. But unajua soko very serious. Yeah. you are a concerned parent. Yeah. So the kids were asked, they said the way the mother was doing a couple of things. Let me not get into that situation because it's gone. And this, tulikuwa na mama kama waine, wanasikia, it's like a tribunal.
Yes. Kuna
mapolisi wawili, then kuna wili, wale wanatake care of the kids, wanaletangwa hapo. So tunaongea, wanasikia. So watoisa yao, Emma amekaa kwa hii mguu, Liron amekaa hapa, ni mwabeba hivi maze. Wamenishikilia maze, hataki kuenda. So wakaamua, You guys have to go back with your mother. But I don't know why that thing happens. Do you know these kids said everything? But this tribunal still insisted they go with their mother. Watoi wacha walie. Wacha cinema ilipuke kwa hii police station. Me, I'm just sitting there. I'm looking at these women who are making this decision.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at them and I'm asking, in my head, I'm like, I'm wondering venye watoto wana nini.
Yeah.
So what happened, the reason why I even went with the kids, watoto walikata.
Yeah.
Walilia waka cause commotion, mpaka sawa mama wengine wenye wamekuja cases zingine kwa police station. Wako zile, si muache aende nao jamani, muacheni aende nao.
Yeah.
So I came with Emma and later on to my place. But now, you know, Emma was a bit big. Then I had not lived with her for a while.
Yeah.
So ile bond haikuwa as tight. Then also she had matured more.
Yeah.
And then also bringing another person's child in another relationship that I already had was a bit... So I think she stayed there for like 2 weeks. But there was a lot of...
Fiction.
Yeah. So unakaa chini nikasema, so kuliko sasa tena kuharibu tena ndoa nini. I was like, So I spoke with her. I was like, Mom, this is what I'm going to do. We're going to change your school, I'm going to be more present in your life because I'm like the godfather.
Yeah.
If you need anything, let me know. I'll talk to your mom, nini, nini. Then we drove back with Emma. And I tried to sit down with the mother and I tried to talk to the mother. I'm like, yo, let's try and do this. Let's try and do that. And she got back to the mother and I paid her fees for a while. And then the father, one day, akapace. Na watoi mpaka Tanzania. Yeah, it's TZ. Yeah, the new husband that he had. And I was like, wait a minute. If my son had not run away right now, my son would be somewhere in Tanzania. And I would be trying to track this boy and like a lot of things were just happening in a certain way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's very interesting.
And yeah, so basically, so why I was saying all this is because I was trying to say the way I'm normally very empathetic.
Yes.
Like you'd see something and then you'd assume it'll end and then something, and then something. So the biggest mistake that I've made in most of my relationship is empathy.
Yes.
I see a red flag, I stay. I try to heal you. I try to change you. I try to sort it. I'm always trying to solve problems. And sometimes you don't need to. Leave people as you find them. You see a red flag, like, ameshautia nani, ondoka. And that's why nowadays I'm normally telling most men and women, don't stay when you see the red flags. They will shout at you today, tomorrow itapanda. The following day itapanda.
Yeah.
The other time itapanda. Don't make excuses for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but also even as I'm listening to your story, you know, one of the things that I'm really checking out a lot is, as a father, there is a lot of love you have to deliberately decide to have for your children.
Yes.
Yes, there is the love you have for them, but you have to be deliberate because I can imagine how many men were in the same situation that you were in.
Yeah.
And most of them have decided, me and Medan, I'm gone. And you know.
Yeah.
So right now, like, do you and her, are you in a better talking space right now?
With who?
With Mama Liron.
Yeah. You know, she was already in another relationship. And then when the guy went to Tanzania, later they remade their situation. Then she also relocated to Tanzania. They're together.
Yes.
She actually just gave birth to twins.
Yeah. So uongo kwa baba twins sahi.
No, not me. Not me. It means I'm begging twins. Yeah, mimi niko na begging girls. I have a lot of girls. Yeah, ujaribu kadem. Little like, Dad, man. Dad, I need a brother. I'm like, let me try one more time for you. He's not for me. He's for you. Then another girl. I'm like, oh man, damn. Now we gotta stick with that. Then I adopted another boy. Then I got roka shule. I'm like, oh man, I don't have good luck with boys. Yeah, my girls that are when you adopt wako wanna behave. Yeah. So right now I think I have 2 boys now. See, now there's Aiden, Chantel's brother. The girl that did the poem.
Yes.
See, I also adopted her, but now the mother already has another boy.
Yeah.
Who's young. So I'm taking care of Chantel and the brother. He's called Aiden. So now I have Liron and Aiden. So now at least I have 2 boys.
You have 2 boys at least.
My girls ndio sasa wako kama 50.
Uko na wengi.
Yeah.
So if I check us back into some of your relationships, there's a time in one of the interviews where you said that you had a photo with size 8.
Yeah.
And then your babe at that time was not alikazirika.
Yeah.
What exactly went down on that story?
Oh, wow. So the problem of talking about it is inaenda kuleta response. You get? Like, if I say something, she will want to respond, and then we'll go back to another place that
is that another
it's
back and
unnecessary.
forth?
Yeah, it's unnecessary. So let me not delve deep, but let me paint a general picture.
Yes, general picture.
But I also not say who. I take a picture of size 8 at QFM. I was wearing a blue denim shirt. It had buttons, I remember. I think size 8 was wearing white.
Yes. Hey,
Then,
match.
Yeah.
Blue and white.
Yeah. And then nikapiga picha ingine nimembeba. I'm like, I'm trying to be funny. Nika post Facebook. So what I didn't know was she had history with, oh wow.
Yeah, we in, bruh. We already in. We might as well just gloss over.
Oh man. Hey. Father God, wow.
The father is the one making it come out from the mouth.
Yeah. I'm trying to find
a
safer way to Chito, wait.
You see, I'm just like, but you can cross over, yeah.
Guys, I didn't want to talk about this. Chito asked me about it, okay? And be a heal I have, okay?
Disclaimer.
And I don't intend to chomea anybody for this story, okay? And even my ex, if you're watching, we're just putting the story in context.
Yes.
I don't got
because I think the idea is this. The idea is there's a lesson you got from that experience, which then, when somebody is hearing you, can avoid to find themselves in the same scenario, or if they're in the same scenario, have a way to navigate through. So the idea, because we're taking lessons from the honeys that I dated, is to draw out a lesson which then becomes something we can utilize.
No, the lesson from that one is still the empathy thing.
Yeah.
Because if I didn't have that, I could have left sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
And if you look at the way things happen, so she had history with size 8.
Yeah.
So when she saw her again, she thought, yo, it's about to happen again.
Oh.
Okay? And I took the fall. So I took the fall for someone else's unhealed trauma. You see? It's, for example, mtu akiaigongewa na DJ. Alafu aone dem yake current anaongea na DJ mwingine. And assume it's going to happen the same way with that DJ. Okay? So that is what happened. And I tried to explain. And I remember it was... It got very dramatic because I was being told to explain why nimembeba, what is happening. And I'm like, yo, she's way beyond my league. I'm just trying to, naikakua. I went to the bedroom, nikafuata huko, what I remember so much was nilienda kwa blanketi, zilikuwa zile blanketi, I think zile za Raymond, zile, your time at duvet zilikuwa zimekam sana.
Yeah.
And also, kazi ilikuwa, maybe, I wasn't liquid enough to afford them. So nikaenda nikafuta blanketi, and then blanketi kavutwa, vawe mwanaume na kuongelesha. So blanketi katolewa. And then I remember nikamuka zile za, wenda kupiga, so unipige bas. So it got so crazy, and I would go to the sitting room, dafuatwa nini. And then I remember also, vitu zikipasuliwa zote kwa hao. My plates zilikuwa zinachapa kwa wall. The whole floor was glass everywhere. I'm trying to skip some parts because, And I remember the following morning, I was starting my episode 1 of Break Time Show. We were shooting at, I think it was it Aquinas ama Isili High? Somewhere uko, and the guest was Ekodida.
Yeah.
So nimepata hii job, I have like a blonde mohawk. And then sasa, this violence ilikuwa so much because now I have a cut, nilikuwa na cut hapa. And then nilikuwa na cut somewhere here. So imagine you're going for a new show, uko na blonde mohawk, alafu kuna cut hapa, unakatu kama mwizi. I think it was, So when I look at everything that happened that night, I could not have posted the picture, but I wouldn't have known because me, I was just trying to be funny. I was not even carrying size 8. Like, it was those superstars who could meet, and then size 8 was she's normally a very friendly soul. But I had to pick, can I carry you like this to do a picture? Kasema sawa. Then I think I was like, was it still called Easy FM or was it already called Nation FM?
It was easy.
It was Easy FM. Yeah, then I was being this dramatic character, Oga Obinna. It was Obinna Ike Igwe. So me, I was doing it for the views and everything, but I didn't know that I was hurting someone. Yeah. And why was I hurting this someone is because they had other healed trauma from a different relationship with this person, and I didn't know. So when I look at that, I'm like, see what tulichangia?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it has still happened in my relationships because sometimes when I meet people, even when I do my music video, if you don't have an understanding partner, they will not get it. That when I'm Oga DTop, when I'm doing music, I'm a different person from Obinna. Obinna is very corporate. There's some things I don't do. But I got there by learning from the mistakes.
Yeah.
There's a time, bro, I just do videos with ladies, with Nyash. A lady will be twerking, nini. Bro, I lost a big deal with the supermarket. I even said it, I think I said in some interview. So tumeenda tumeseal deal nini for Christmas promotion with this supermarket. It's one of the leading ones. And then 2 days later, I'm being summoned to the office. Like, kuna issue nini, so I go. Nikacheza tu video. You see this one? We are a family-oriented, nini. So there's another lady who saw it in the committee. Akasema, nini. Alafu pia unajua kwa kila committee by the way unaendanga, kuna tu kama utakupendangi.
Yeah.
Like, that's one thing you need to make peace with. Every job you get, there's always one person in that team when you're like, mbona nape umse? And if that person is powerful, you'll not get it.
Yeah.
But if
if they know the power, or if they're close to the powerful person.
Yes. And then also in any committee for any job you get, if the women want you and the men don't want you, bro, you'll get the job. And if the men want you and the women, even if it's just one woman, she does not want you, bro, you'll not get the job. Women have so much power in making decisions in organizations. Yeah. So if you go and, bro, you are the funniest, you are the whatever, and one woman just says, I know, Obinna. No, we are not doing that thing with Obinna.
Yeah.
All these 15 men will fold and they'll do what she wants.
Follow that direction.
Yeah, because men always, they don't want, hatutaki issues na wacha tutufanye venye wanataka.
Yeah.
So it's better to make peace with the women because even unajua kwa hao, some decisions our fathers used to make, mama zetu ndo walikuwa na press the right buttons.
Yes.
Yeah. So that happened and nikambiwa, we can't work with you. And after like less than a week, na unatuja last kwa escalator. Merry Christmas.
I remember.
I'm like, yo.
He never told you it also caused for him problems on this other side.
Who's that?
That ad.
Yeah.
It caused for him problems on this other side.
For real?
Yeah. It was a full circle of... I didn't even know this side. Me and you now this other side.
Hey, see, God was fighting for me, but Ali make your do.
It caused him wahala.
But alipiga, but now I learned. I was like, yo, kumbe these things. That's why nowadays when I see most content creators, I always tell them, don't sexualize your content because it messes up with the bread. The corporates and the other nini, you'll get likes. And then it's normally a bug that when it bites you, you want to just keep going and going and going. You don't realize you're doing something that is not good.
Yeah.
And I've seen a lot of content creators get in this space and they don't get it. And I'm like, yo, for example, my brother, this comes from a good place. Bahati. I've seen Bahati doing content with a wife and I always fear for him, but he does not see it. He'll do kama amevaa hiyo dress, kama anasema amevaa thong, amesema nini, hizo kama amelala kwa bed and everything. And in my head, I'm like, Bahati was already a superstar. He didn't need to do this. But he feels he has to do it. You know why? Because there's that bug. When it bites you, the likes and the views you get. When you do sexual content, gay content, content that people go like, content yenye mi siwezi watch na mamangu. But watu wengi wana comment, you get a lot of reactions from matusi to wale wako confused to wale wa for the ones who don't care button, nini, all of those things. So when you get such number of views, it's a high that you want to get it again. And if you can't get it again from other ones, you go back and do the same thing again.
Yeah.
And I see a lot of other people do the thing. And Juicy, there's another content creator, let me not mention her name. She's female. She did some very, I think, sexualized content. And I DM'd her, I was like, hey, yo, this one is not the route to go. Just, me and her, we are boys.
Yeah.
Akanijamia hajaniongelesha since then. I think it was about a month ago. And we used to talk like nearly every day.
Yeah.
Akajam, and in my head, I'm like, oh, utajam, but I've tried to guide you because all the other content she was doing was still okay.
Yeah.
But ali push the envelope kidogo. Mwenye akafeel zile za, and when you get there, because I was there, I used to get views, bro. Instagram, TikTok, nini. Una TV mase views, unaona comments, mase meso comments ka 500, comments ka 1,000.
Yeah.
Now I have to look for another lady with nyash. Then sasa atanikalia, nini. And then you just keep on going and you just keep making the same mistake over and over and over and over. Then when you realize it is too late.
You know, one of the things that I think many people don't understand even about these media spaces, I always tell guys, there are two spirits in the world, if we put it that way, in a simple space.
Yeah.
There are two spirits in the world that are trying to take a hold of your mind. One is the spirit of God or the spirit of truth, and then you have the spirit of fear. So what happens is when the spirit of fear starts coming in, fear makes somebody say, they will not accept me for who I am. So what I need to do is I need to alter my image, alter who I am, so that they can accept me.
There you go.
What they do not tell them is, like you've said, 1 step, 2 step, 3 step, 4 step. Before you know it, you are in so deep to the point that there are now people who don't even want to touch you. Guys are just like, huyo anakwanga on that side, leave them. Whereas on this other side, that's why the scriptures talk about the narrow road. It's a narrow path. It's not a path that's chosen by many people.
Yeah.
On this other side, I think people then now begin to accept who they are because the spirit of truth says, I don't need you to do all that. You see how you are? That's how God the Father created you. I want you that so that we can communicate. The mishap usually happens with that point. Now, what has happened is so many people are operating under fear.
Yeah.
So, and guess what happens on your algorithm on Instagram? It will follow and do the thing that you follow.
Yep.
So if you follow those guys who are doing all those things, you will think that's the only type of content that you can get done on a spectrum. So even if there's something good that you can do with content, you find it cannot be done just because of that simple thing. So there's a lot in it that is very, very, it's very simple, but quite deep into it.
Also, another mistake that I've figured out we're always making, what you've just spoken about, just adding on to that.
Yeah.
We do a lot of things because we are bothered of what other people, that fear, they will not accept me. What will they think? Stop doing things for people. People don't care, man.
Yeah.
Today, Obinna for president. Tomorrow, Obinna must be hanged.
Yeah.
That's the way they are. And they shift like this. And I've seen it happen so many times. And also personally, when I made peace with that fact, I was like, yo, wait a minute. I don't care about you. I care about me. I like to dress this way. I will dress this way for me. You like it? You don't like it? I like to do this thing. You don't like it? But the fact that I want to do something because you like it. And also, another lesson for my exes from this setup. Don't let the other person define your happiness. Don't be in a relationship because they make you happy. Because if they make you happy, when they leave you, bro, kuna heartbreak nilichapwa. I think that time bado ulikuwa kiss wewe.
Yes, we were together.
You remember?
I remember. You were silent on the other side. That day ulikuwa na heartbreak. I looked at this guy, we're doing the show. Half the time, you're just like this. That
time, if you look at the kiss, I used to have glasses like this ones. I used to wear a lot of dark shades.
Yes, because of your eyes. But that day, it was not the eyes. That day,
it was in the eyes. The eyes had it. The eyes had the linkage to the heart. Bro, nilikuwa feda inaenda juu tunacheka na Chito nini. Feda ikienda hivi chini, I'm back.
Yeah.
I'll go cry in the toilet, come back again, nini. Because I loved this person so much. And I cared about this person so much. And I thought that making them happy and defining my life around them was my purpose. And I expected the same from them. Little did I know, for them, I was a means to an end. And when this person, okay, the person was showing me their colors all along, but remember the empath? I was making excuses. Oh, maybe because of this. And I was empowering this person to. So personally, I'm a builder.
Yeah.
I build people up, even in relationships. All my exes, I never left them where I found them. All of them.
Yeah.
And they can attest to it. Like where I found you, I make you better. I always make, even my friends, people around me, I'll always make you better. So even this person, I built her, like she achieved a lot. I remember even her company name, I came up with that name, and we opened a few biasharas, Nini, and I was trying to, and it was for her because she was happy and she was my happiness. You get? And when finally it dawned on me like, yo, sasa happened, yo, sasa mwisho. Because, for a man, most of the time men will be in relationships and the women will do a lot of other things and the man will stay until ugongewe.
Yes.
Ukigongewa is the man where the man wakes up. Hey. Yeah, all the other things, most men stay in relationship with them. The disrespect, kuna wale natukanwa, kuna wale, the things they're doing are not being appreciated. They're the ones who are just being used and the other ones who are being abused, either emotionally or Some are even being physically violated.
Yes.
Yeah, in relationship, but they stay. Amenipiga tu kakofi. Mama anakuanga hiva kijam. Mwingine amemwagiwa maji moto, mwingine amemwagiwa chakula, mwingine apikiwi. All of these things. And when this happens, most of the men will stay. They'll make excuses on behalf of.
Yes.
Maze, unajua madei maze, unajua maze, ni mimi maze, mimi ndo nilifanya. Juzi, I did a post. I was talking about toxic women. And I saw a lot of comments for ladies saying, but unajua wanaume wakangi chini kusema, ni nini ulifanya ikafanyio dema kafika hapo. If that is the reasoning, then, if that's the reasoning, then we can easily say, when a man gets physically abusive to a woman, we can say, ni nini yo msichana amefanya ikafanya yo mwanaume akafika hapo.
Yeah.
You see? So let's not think like that. When someone is not a good person, it doesn't matter what you do.
Yeah.
Ati nini, unajua wanaume ndio wamefanya. No, when someone is abusive, someone is abusive. As a woman, when your boyfriend is abusive, he's just abusive. Usiaika chini, ni nini nimefanya ikafanya. No. And if you're a man, when the woman is abusive, the woman is abusive. Yeah. Don't sit down and say, ni nini nimefanya, unasikia ati, but najua wanaume wanacheatingi. Yes. But besides cheating, there are also other mistakes that we make in relationships. You see, I'm not saying cheating is good. I'm just saying, let's not downplay toxicity and look for excuses to cover it.
But also, even in the grand scheme of things, I keep on saying, in the grand scheme of things, cheating is probably at the lower base. In the grand scheme of things, there are people think cheating is the worst that can. I'm like, cheating is possibly in the spectrum. There's far much more. You can lose your vision. And if you lose your vision because of something that's happened with somebody, you have no sight in life. So that's why you just keep finding yourself gongaing okutas and just not living it up. Because then there's somebody, because when you mentioned something, there's someone I dated who was similar like that. In fact, she's a YouTuber. So there's a time I saw on her videos, she said, oh, there was this relationship I was in, and the person just didn't appreciate me. I was like, wait, what? You start scheming. I'm like, wait, you've only dated two. Me and somebody else.
No, at least you thought she did it too.
I'm like, so are you saying I was not appreciating you? But then I realized what appeared for me, what appeared as appreciation for her wasn't. Because what she expected me to do was to be giving husband duties to a girlfriend. So pay for me A, B, C, D. So I'm supposed to be, there's this vision that I have. You have to fund my vision. But so kuna baba yako, unaishi kwa nyumba yake, ongelesha baba yako. So, there are those type of things and those conversations. So I realized at that point, I was like, oh no, it's an understanding. You understood what appreciation should be here. I was understanding something differently. However, in fact, that chick, I usually look sometimes, that chick taught me a lot, bro. That one taught me a lot. I would not be on radio if it wasn't for that damn. I know. Wow. Okay. She's a chick that told me, you have some. She used to push me. She would tell me, go do this. Look for that Nini. Look for the guy. Talk to the guy. And that's how I found myself on. Paka, even there was a time when I was doing, I think it was 2 years ago, I was doing 10 years on radio, 10 years in media. And I remember thinking to myself, wow, like if I actually never started dating that chick, but then I asked myself, maybe I was never meant to date her. Maybe I turned a destiny helper into a shore. And she should have stayed at that point. So I think some of us end up dating people. So this person comes to connect in our lives. Their duty in our life is to push us somewhere. But because of the closeness in which they come in, we say, hey, it's a fine shoreba. Because remember, your partner is still a destiny helper. The person you marry is still supposed to be your destiny.
Yeah.
So you look at them and like, hey, this is a fine shore. You start dating the person who's meant to connect you. So now you stay with a destiny connector thinking they're a destiny helper.
Yeah.
So you stay with them for a while. Now things start turning out in a different way. So now they start getting frustrated, or you start getting frustrated because the purpose in their life was fulfilled. They were there to show you the door. You took them with you in the door. Now they don't know what the other side of the door looks like. Walizoea hii side ya kufungua.
Yep.
They don't know what happens when you shut the door on the other side and all these other problems start coming through. So there's a way when you look at it in a hindsight. And that's why you see, I like having conversations with guys like you, because then we're able to walk the journey and you're able to say, okay, actually, this good thing came out of here.
Yeah.
But if I was to ask you, like right now, which ex of yours can you pick up a phone and be like, you know what? You're a good person. Is there any of your exes you can do that with?
Yeah. No, generally, I think nearly all my exes were like good people.
Mm-hmm.
So apart from the baby mamas, when a child is involved and then people don't have a lot of information or knowledge, and then these two parties want different things, is now when the miscommunication comes in. For example, there's a baby mama who will want you to take care of the child and take care of her. And if you don't, you are the enemy.
Yeah.
And there's a baby mama who will want you to take care of the child, but they don't want you to see the child. Okay? And there's a baby mama who will want you to take care of the child and still take care of her needs. Emotional.
Needs in capital letters.
In needs. Yes. So if you're not taking care of her needs, then now you can't see your child. Okay? Then there's also a baby mama who will want you to see the child, be with the child, but they will not be in the child's life. We also have those ones. We kana mtoto. Mpaka unampiga unamwambia, "We rada." Then also we have a baby mama who will stay with the child, but because something did not work out between you two, now mtoto atakuwa kama healing therapist wake. Mtoto atatandikwa na maneno. Mtoto atambiwa vitu. Your dad is this, babako ni malaya, babako ni whatever. Mtoto atakuwa natukana on your behalf. The child will have a lot of beatings for you. You see? So we also have that one. And then also we have a baby mama who, if it doesn't work out, now mtoto kama mtoto wa kambo. Because the child looks like you or the child reminds them of you. So they relieve their pressure from the child. So just ignore the toys. So they have a couple of toys, but kuna tu mtoi mwenye ako zile za. You see? So we have different parts, but only when the child is involved. But generally, you find they're just good people if the child is not involved. Like if you look at my exes that I've been with and we don't have a child, kuna wale walikuwa tu wazuri, mpaka kuna ka moment ukokozele, like the one who gave me the serious heartbreak. I loved her so much and she didn't love me back. I thought she did. Okay? And I assumed she did. And if you look at how we had good memories, like I remember the biggest problem of the heartbreak was everywhere I was going, there was a memory of her. You go to the cinema, like, God damn. We used to sit in that corner, man. Unakula popcorn, like, yeah, she used to chew it like that. So those were the things that, but if you look at those memories, they were nice until something happened.
Yes.
Like every relationship is normally good until something happens. Either the funding stops, ama the fire stops, ama something stops, then now you become enemies. Then you're like, no, we can still co-parent and be...
can be cordial with one another. It's possible.
Yeah, like me, I still look at my baby mamas. No, with some of them we talk, some of them we don't talk. But also when you talk with some of them, you realize, wewe nakuona wewe, unajirealign. Ama unaongea na mimi because unataka nikusaidie kufanya A, B, C, D. Aongei na mimi because you are genuinely a good person.
Yes.
It's like the people who are good because they want to go to heaven. They're not good because they're good people.
Yeah.
They're good people because they're afraid of hellfire. So some baby mamas are good to you because you are the financier. Ama some are good to you because you're still sleeping with them. Ama some are good to you because sasa penye wameenda pia walifikiria ni kuzuri, kimewaramba sasa anaangalia ako like all my people yenyewe, as much as huyu jamaa alikuwa hivi na hivi, he's a little bit Yeah, so there are some that were good. I can't really point where. Do you know I used to have an ex who used to tell me to laugh and I started laughing?
Checker.
You know my ex. Yeah, like she had so much power over me. I think, yeah, that was my first heartbreak. It was serious, bro. I nearly died. Si ile story ya Fred Omondi. Ukumbuki when Fred Omondi alinigongea? The late Fred Omondi. I've spoken about it in a couple of places.
Yeah.
Hey, boy, hey, Buddha. If it was not my mom, hey, but mamangu pia amesimama na mimi. I think all my heartbreaks, I've had three. 3 heartbreaks, yes. 3 serious heartbreaks. And my mom has always been there. He's fine, man.
Yeah.
Stay strong, Baba. Like you, ile mimi nilikuwa naenda kumada Fred Omondi. Wacheni. Okay, I nearly cracked a dark joke. Yeah. Yeah, but
I get it, but yeah.
Yeah.
I get it.
My mom told me
I've seen it
you've
clearly.
seen it? Yeah.
Let me leave it in my head.
Let's leave it right there because it was a very dark joke. So my mom is the one who told me, no, utafungwa jela, nini. But nilikuwa nimeshaangalia. I was like, I'm gonna kill this guy, man.
Yeah.
Kill this guy, man. It was so bad. And then I think I've said this story before, and I was so mad and angry, and I was like, it's over, and she couldn't let me go. And akachukua kisu akasema, kama it's over, baby, mimi najiua. And I was like, kill yourself. Nakaanza kujikata, najikata. So unajua ukishajikata hii side ni ngumu kushika kisu tena ujikata hii side. Juu sasa hii nguvu imeni. Akajikata maze, she was bleeding, and I was like, die. And Owago akamchukua akamkimbiza Mata Hospital, akashonwa, then she came back. Then akatoa nguo zangu akaanza kuvua. Like, yo, it was crazy. And
you know, obviously, and I think that's one of the things about every time I have conversation with you about relationship, I realize, like, bro, you've lived the life of like 10 men.
Yeah.
In like, especially relationship wise.
Yeah.
Like you you have some other dramas to the point, but I've been there before where someone tried to kill themselves. But me, I didn't know. Me, I had chomokada, and then I came back, the house was smelling of Dettol liquid. So I'm like, hey.
Yeah, dating bougie chicks.
Like this house a bit
Ni
clean.
kienyeji ni kisu tu ya mboga. Hakuna pesa ya afford rat.
Naangalia, drunk, like it was, I think, this amount. Akafanya liquid.
Mimi kuna kisu, kuna kukunywa Moxil na Shambhala. Unajua Shambhala?
What's Shambhala, bro?
So Shambhala, there are these 2 blings that they used to trade with beads. There's time I used to wear a lot of them. If you look at my videos,
yes, I remember. I used to have a lot.
Then also kwa shingo Shambhala zile zinakuwa round. Alikata even a Moxil. Anamwaga mazee, mimi niko zile unajua ile time when things happen and then you are together and then you feel they've offended you, and then now they want the easy way out. I'm like, you do it, man. So like this other one, Moxil clearly didn't work, but well.
She lived
the Shambhala pia quite digested, so alitoa later the way it went.
Hey, me, bro, we ended up in Hosi. What are you saying? See, she kunywa, so me ingia the digs. I just find someone is, and then I'm smelling something, and then there was also, and then I had Piritons, 21 pills. So me, I'm like, yo, what's happening?
Wait, is she alive?
Yeah, she's alive.
Damn. Okay, dark joke, guys.
So I looked at it. So when I'm like, wait, where's the Piritons? And then I'm looking at this person, the Ananguvu, just like, so I'm like, yo. And then in my head, I'm like, if you die here, now they have to close my house for a police case.
You would be. Unasema police case, ungekuwa committee.
I'm like, let's go.
Yeah, ungekuwa committee.
We rushed, went to the hospital. So while she's in the hospital, so they asked me what happened. I'm like, you guys, I don't know. But what I know is the liquid soap is no more.
And ain't no clothes been washed.
And I'm seeing somebody is like this. So then they start asking her, what did you do? So I'm like, I need to call her mom. I had to call her mom and her dad and be like, yo, mtoto wenu ako hapa. Now, this sounds bad, but I thank God it wasn't because of me. It was because they had an argument with the mother. Yes. But I was like, ata we're planning. You know,
if she dies in your house, ata story ya mama yake angetoka.
Exactly, because now they say it's me. However, the beauty was that day she sent a text to her mom. Oh, you're not never nice to me. So I'd have been like, guys, please. It's a text.
Evidence kwa kalatas. Yeah. But
however,
still,
most people would not think because the man is always the bad guy. So that, however, that taught me something very vital.
Yeah.
Msichana kulala kwa nyumba yangu. Never. After that, never happened.
Yeah.
I never did the at your come and sleep in my house, staying past 5 p.m. Z. You're staying where I can see you in what are you doing?
No, just don't break her heart. She ain't gonna die for nothing.
But you see now, essentially that's how it's supposed to be. Essentially, Yeshua is not supposed to be sleeping in our houses. So for me, what it just did, iliniskuma in the right direction faster. But I learned that thing from that relationship at that time. That is the time I said, even at the medicine was never really in my house much.
Yeah.
Ama if you say I used to put hide in a compartment. Oh, I'm looking for Panadol. You want what? How many do you want? I'm bring the
Panadol limbi. Bono nataka ine.
I bring here, have. Even I just generally became more careful in that part of my life. I was just more careful. I was just a bit more, when I hear, my mom has pissed me off. I'm not, in fact, I'm going to go. Okay, not to my house. Go wherever you want to go to. Just don't come here. I learned that at that point.
Yeah.
So, but it was a very good, it's as much right now, as much as when you look at some of these things, you're like, you see the flip side of it. Me, to be honest, I saw the hand of God because I was like, that chick is alive now. So ain't nobody, I've not seen her in so many years, but I'm like, nobody, in fact, I think they diagnosed her like bipolar 2 or something. Some of those things.
Yeah.
But I look at that and I'm like, yeah. Because when what I'm gathering, at least from one of the things I'm hearing from you, one of the things I believe is when you're angry, just chill, relax yourself. Because even like that Muse, the way that Muse came and told you, and he gave you the idea of, which also it means around us when there are situations, there's always someone who has wisdom.
Yes.
The only way you'll identify them is if you're silent enough to see who is not fueling this situation. Which person is actually seated here? There's somebody who always has wisdom for us. Which also, remember, in the Bible talks about the counsel of the ungodly. There's a part in the Bible that talks about the counsel of the ungodly. That there are people who are around us who are ungodly. Yani their mouth just tells us things that just don't make sense. So we have to watch that we are in the counsel of the wise, not the ungodly. In fact, it says, beware of the man who sits in the counsel of the ungodly, sits in the seat of the scornful, and in the way of sinners. So me, this is how I interpret it usually. I'm like, so if I see a guy, he's going over there, na hapo kuna bibi ya wenyewe, nisikae kwa njia yake. Get out of the way. Get out of the way. Be like, unaenda wapi kwa bibi ya nani? My friend, please, go your way. Because guess what happens? If that situation lipukas, but then nilimwona na Chito kwa barabara.
Ni Morio wa Chito.
So then now that part is also standing in the way of sinners. So there are many things that I think we can draw. So basically, even in relationships, there's that aspect of there are people around us who carry wisdom. We should be able to identify those people on the onset to know this one has wise words. Huyu anakuanga tu wa entertainment. So you have that sort of logic and that thinking. But also from your story, what I'm also seeing, especially in regards to lessons, I'm also learning, just don't have many baby mamas.
No, so having many baby mamas is not a decision that you make.
Yeah, it's not a decision, but if you can...
No, if you can, and I can give you the lessons I've learned from how not to have many baby mamas. Okay? So number 1, don't have sex.
Basic.
Yeah.
Basic.
If you have sex, use protection.
Use a condom.
Those are the 2 sure bets that you'll not have a baby mama. The reason is this. There's none of my kids that I planned for. And that I was ready for.
Yeah.
My son came, I was 20. It was my first experience. Like, this woman is the one who taught me, this is the shit.
Yeah.
Remember, I was very godly and very church going and very...
a pastor's kid.
Yeah. So there are things I was afraid of. Then that video for Tuju, the one for STI, is also traumatized me. I was like, I'm not going to touch nobody's daughter. If that's the way that thing is, no. And then so later when this happened, I was like, oh la la, okay, nice. Then boom, a baby boy. And before I was ready for that one, Brianna happened, and then Ada happened, then Lola. So if I look at all these things, I was like, the mistake I was doing is I was trusting the other party more than I was trusting myself. How do I mean?
Hey, by the way, this doesn't mean he doesn't love his children. Obinna loves his children very much.
No, you don't have to tell them. It's up to you, man. I know my relationship with my kids. Yeah, you think I don't love them?
Yeah.
You remember what I told you? I'm not doing it for you. Those are my people. I'm doing it for me. So, a lady will tell you, I'm on my safe days. and then wewe utaingia na kila kitu. And then you find maybe she had missed her dates. Ama kuna demo yenyewe atachukua lese kitu kama P2, then ita backfire.
Mtoto alishikilia tu.
Yeah, mtoto anashikilia sema, God damn, no.
I'm not
I had to stand on business. Yeah. Na pia kuna ule pia mwenye atakuangalia hivi aseme, huyu Chito huyu, mi time yangu inapita, mi nataka nipate mtoi nikiwa hii age, na huyu Chito nanaka kuwa responsible. So wacha nikae nini, and then unaenda anakwambia niko sawa nini, usiogope, you don't trust me nini, and then bam. Na kuna ule pia ina happen by accident, even her she didn't want. Na akashtukia ama kondiko ikararuka. There are normally a couple of reasons. Like me, there's a baby mama that nilimwekea handbrake, but akachomoa handbrake. You see, drops the mic. Literally. Yeah. So nilimwekea handbrake. Mi nimejua tuko na handbrake ya 4 years or something. A little handbrake. I didn't know. Baadaye unaambiwa, hey, rada. Mi na find out come to years aliwa naambiwa, hey, my guy. I'm like, but see, you had a handbrake. So what will I do? Kill the child? No. That's an innocent being. That's an angel. I'm like, yeah, so what are we going to do? I'm going to take care of the child. But me and you, it's over. It's a wrap. It's never going to happen again because now I don't trust you. Now you are my enemy, but we have a child to raise. So we're going to make a truce for the sake of the baby. So for men, not having baby mamas, that is the only way I can tell you how to do it. Don't have sex. If you have sex, make sure all the time unatoka na watoto wako hivi. Na usiwadampa hapo kwa hiyo dustbin. Either flush them in the toilet ama live with it tena nayo kwingine. Because we unaweza toka na ukufikiri umeweka hapo nini alafu. And then there are also these people who wakishamaliza whatever anajipanguza na towel. Then the lady pia anajipanguza na the same towel. You might find some children hanging on the towel like, Daddy. Then amejipanguza now they find a home. They're like, yeah, swimming again. Yeah. So just be careful with the things you're doing around yourself when you're about to have sexual intercourse. Because now that is what guards. You see. And then now, having dramatic baby mamas is also, it has nothing to do with you as a man. Okay? I also learned this later on. Bro, it has nothing to do with you. Where umepatia mtu ball, take care of your shit, bro. Stand on business. Fight to be in your child's life as a man. It doesn't matter what the woman did, whether she was abusive, she was toxic, she's an alcoholic, she's bipolar, she's whatever, she's psycho. It doesn't matter. Tayari ni mama mtoto wako. Take care of your child. It's not going to be easy, bro. It's going to be a fight that is unnecessary but necessary. Unakachi unajiuliza, mbona tunapigana? Tunapigana ndio nione mtoi. Sometimes you'll be sending money and the money you'll be sending will not be used to do what its intended purpose is. Mtoi ameparara, mtoi ni whatever, nini, you show up, mtoi anakachokora na umetuma do, kuna manguo utakuwa unatuma za kwa zinachomwa, ukibai chakula inaweza kuwa inamwagwa, utakuwa unatoka na mtoi kwa mtoi unaambiwa umepeleka mtoto wangu mama laya yako. There's so much that will happen. You'll be trolled online saying, you know, that you're deadbeat dad just because you've not sent money the way they want it to happen. You know, also men, we don't have money all the time. Sometimes hauna na unaambia mtu wenyewe sahi sina. Hiyo time pia utaokotwa. Kama hauna basi mbona ulikuwa unaniweka mimba, and you'll sit down and remember you told this woman you didn't want a child. And I mean, you'll remember, and this woman told me she was safe. I mean, you remember say this woman da. Now what you're doing is you're just shifting blames, but there's already a child. So forget all the side shows. Lock in. Ni umtoi nataka kwa life yake. The police might not help you. Children's court might not help you. The streets might not help you. Only God might be able to help you. Because, you know, consistency and persistence sometimes takes over. You're consistent in the war, atachoka. You know, evil people get tired sometimes. Because Mungu akisimamanga sometimes, watu wanakuwa zile za, mwache aone basi huyo mtoto nini. So, stand on business, fight is not going to be easy. That is how you be in your child's life. But the woman being dramatic and abusive and whatever as a baby mama is not on you. It has nothing to do with usijiblame. Ati unajua huyu nini. Children grow up, yes, but they grow up traumatized. Like me, I look at my kids, I'm like, so sometimes I try to overlove them, which is also not good, but I'm trying to compensate on the trauma they've gone through. Because my kids have seen me transition through a couple of relationships and they've seen a couple of abuse happen here and there. You get? And nowadays, I take to the hills when I see certain red flags. And that is also a sign for also the other men who are watching this thing. Lessons I've also learned from my exes. Bro, see the red flags, run. Never stay because of the child. If you stay because of the child, utajeka kwa mangori zenye ungeavoid earlier on. I stayed because of some of my kids. Let me not narrow down because inaleta what, oh, you know, so I'm talking general. There are some of my kids that I stayed because of them. And while I was staying because of this particular kid, I was hurting the other kids. You get? There are some relationships that have gone because of me. And when I was saying because of me, I was hurting my kids. You know, because the kids are just like, as we don't endorse this thing, but I'm like, hey guys, man, I want someone for me. I also need love, And then this thing happens. And later when you're outside, you're like, wait a minute. Then the kids start kufunguka. Mbona muku niambia? Some of the things they've said is on their channel. If you watch their channel, you'll see them talking about some things that were happening before. And I was just like, you guys never told me. They're like, yeah, we never knew how you'll react because we saw nini. So nowadays I take to the hills. The problem of running away as a man, one, you'll be branded a coward, which is good. Cowards live longer. And then also you want to stay and fight with a woman. Then also, if you run to the hill, sometimes they come after you because they think you're afraid. Which is true. I'm afraid of what I will do to you. And if I do it to you, the consequences will fall on my kids. So I will run away. Call me all the names, do whatever. They'll come for you. They'll come, Nini. There's a relationship I was in recently and the person wasn't nice. And I bailed. And I was told a lot of things. And I saw a lot of things online and everywhere. And I was just looking and I'm like, if I decide to start talking today, and I've also realized this thing about most men, starting with myself, there's so much we don't say for the sake of the other person. Because I also said this thing last week on Nini, I shot on my phone on a video I did, that one for toxic women. A lot of men, we tell the other man not to talk. Mi sahi ukikama uko na ngori na wife yako, no nakwambia bro, lenga maze, cheza chini bro. Unajua huyu ni mama watoto wako maze. Bro, achana nayo maze, acha iende. But do you know what her friends are telling her? Nani Chito, guy, surely, akitalk baby girl, sema, speak it out, sema, kidogo wine mbili tatu, say it. And then she'll say it, and then 7 of her friends will also say it to their friends, and their friends will say it to their friends. But mi ukikutana mi pekao mi, hata hao mamori hawatajua. Mi nishakwambia bro, cheza chini, be a man maze. Lenga hiyo story maze. No, nyamazia. Ati amebonda gari yako yote. No, lenga maze. Si uko na insurance? Oh, hauna. Maze, ongea na meke, utalipa hiyo kitu alafu wewe cheza chini.
Yeah.
But now you know what you're doing wrong is the next man is going to be in a similar situation. And they'll not know what to do because Obinna and Chito never spoke. So the thing is only them. So they will stay. You see that story for women trying to commit suicide? It happens more times than enough in relationships, and men don't talk about it. Personally, in my DM currently have 5. Wanaume wananiambia 2, hata wakanitumia evidence. Kuna mwingine there's a show I've started called Men Problems, where now I'm allowing men to now talk about problems they've been in relationships. Now just give me the story, we laugh about it, Nini, and then how you manage to come out of it, and now other men will learn from it. So kuna mwingine tena juzi last week, demi yake amejikatakata mpaka kapelekwa OC. I have the videos. So when you look at this thing, you're like, na kuna mwingine tena demi yake akarecord video akamwambia, mimi naenda kujiua na unajua nikijiua ni wewe ndo utafungwa jela. Nini. So when such things happen, these men think, it's just me maze. Maze demi yangu maze amejam maze amepata message kwa simu yangu maze amejam. So ni message ampata kwa simu yangu amejam, anasema atakujiua. So let me manage it. Let me love her even more and let me be more present. Yeah. So you stop serving your purpose as a man, you start living for this person. And when you're doing that, another thing will happen. Bro, every relationship has mistakes. There's always something that will happen.
Yeah.
And when it happens, she'll try it again. Do you know one day she'll be successful?
Yeah.
And when she does that, who goes to jail?
It's the guy who goes to jail.
So the minute you see it, bro, run for the hills. Toka bro, kama ni kuacha vitu wacha. Juzi nimeona ni Nairobi Gossip Club wamepost, kuna dem ameenda kararua vitu kwa nyumba ya boys fulani nini, ufa akapiga, ameipiga kwa nini, amebudo ufa, amesok ufa nini, and it happens so many times that even men come to the house, manguo zimechongwa zimeraruliwa, mtu mwingine ameiba manguo zako amefanya nini.
Yeah.
It happens.
Yeah.
And men stay because mama alikuwa amejamba ze. Unajua alikuwa amejua naongea na Stacy maze mama amejam, and then you stay. Bro, you're making the biggest mistake in your life. It's the same way I'll say for any woman, men are not as dramatic as kuchoma nini, but a man atakuslap. The minute he slaps you, my sister,
run for the hills.
Run to the hills, ondoka, because leo atakuslap. Next time itakuwa ni slap mbili. Singine atakupiga ngumi. So moja atakuchapa kwa tumbo, uterus yako ita rupture. You'll never be able to give birth again because you stayed. And you saw the signs. Bro, I saw the sign. And it opened up my eyes.
Yes.
I saw this. Bro, I've done those mistakes. Learn from me. My guy, Toka.
Yeah.
Them are threatened to kukupiga, matusi, kujiua, Toka.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, on that note, I think this is a good place to end, because at least now we're able to wrap up and see all the lessons that we can get from the things that Busy has been through. But thank you so much for joining us, man. It's the Golden Voice Live, where we heal, we teach, we raise, and we build, all for your benefit. See you on the next one. Cheers.
Imeisha hivyo. Ah! God damn! Bring it back!